So 2020, bit of a slow year for comic book movies, but the genre is slapping back in 2021 with a vengeance. So today I'm going to stop and rank all 14 2021 superhero or comic book movies based off my excitement. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Share your ranking of the 2021 comic book movies based off your excitement. Obviously, my list isn't the right list, it's just my list, and I would love to see yours. Also, I'm excited to check all these movies out, so this is basically going to be me telling you why I'm excited for all of these. One final thing before we get started, you can get one of these I Talk Movies Too Much shirts in my merch store at the link down below in the description. There you can find a bunch of the shirts that I wear inside of my videos. And let's get started. In last place is Justice Society World War II. They announced this film at DC Fandom last fall and gave us a release date in the year 2021, but this is also one that we don't have a trailer for yet, so I don't know too much about it, except it's about the Justice Society and it's set during World War II. Inherently, it's interesting anytime you take characters that we love and put them in a different context, a different setting. Superheroes, World War II, sounds interesting. Number 13, Batman Soul of the Dragon. This one actually comes out later this month, and they gave us a trailer for it a month or two back. Essentially, the concept of it is it's a Batman story set in the 70s.
Groovy.
And it's trying to be like one part Bruce Lee movie, one part blaxploitation film, and one part Batman story. Mix all that together. I don't know if it'll be good, but it's such a weird mix. I'm curious to see how this one turns out. Number 12, Morbius. Now, most of the trailer for this film felt like a good enough, professionally produced comic book movie that didn't seem to have that distinctive spark to it until you got to the very last shot.
What's up, Doc?
Where all of a sudden it appears that the Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming shows up, which establishes that Morbius is going to be the movie where Sony really establishes their spunk. Here I am! Their own Spider-Man's shared universe that is kind of tangentially associated with the MCU, and that immediately caught my attention. Just in general, anytime there's a comic book movie, I'm probably going to be excited for it, but figuring out how exactly they're doing kind of this cousin universe to the MCU, that's the thing for this one that I'm most intrigued by. Number 11, The King's Man. If I was judging my excitement of this one based purely on the original King's Men and the trailer for this and the setting where it takes place, it actually probably would have been several hot spots higher on this list. Matthew Vaughn just has such a unique, energetic style that he brings to all of his movies, but these Kingsman films are just like hopped up on Red Bull to the extreme, and setting that during World War I just seems very interesting to me. But this seems like a movie that's had a lot of production trouble, and it was getting delayed, postponed before the year 2020 hit and did that to all the movies. So that has me kind of nervous as to what exactly is going on here. Bringing us into the top 10, Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins. As I said at the beginning, I'm intentionally playing loose with my definition of superhero movie and comic book movie, but G.I. Joe has comic book origins going all the way back to the 1940s, and even when they launched the G.I. Joe Real American Hero toy line in 1982, it was alongside the Marvel comic book series that predated the animated show. Here, Snake Eyes gets to be front and center inside the story with Henry Golding in the lead, and I know the previous two G.I. Joe movies haven't been all that good, but it seems like a franchise that should have the potential for a campy, fun, goofy blockbuster. And so I'm hopeful that that's what this will provide. It doesn't need to be great cinema. It just needs to be Taco Bell entertainment. And I think that can happen. Next up, Batman The Long Halloween. This is a DC animated original, and it's being done along the same lines as what they did with The Dark Knight Returns, where it's being split into 2 parts, and it's a translation rather than an adaptation of the story. And I just love it when they take these classic Batman storylines, graphic novels, and translate them directly into these animated originals that aren't done in an hour and 15 minutes, but they do it in 2 parts so they can tell the full story. The Long Halloween is one of the great Batman stories. It's one of the major influences on The Dark Knight, so I can't wait to check this one out. At number 8, Eternals. So this movie was actually supposed to come out 2 months ago. 2020 hit, and so it got postponed a full year. And I think for that reason, that's kind of dampened some of my excitement about it, because we heard about it a while ago. We saw these pictures of Kumail Nanjiani just absolutely jacked. Here I am! And then we haven't gotten anything new in about a year. And so kind of my excitement has dampened a little bit because of that. But I'm sure as soon as we get a trailer, I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with this, and that excitement will go way back up because they're going weird, they're going cosmic, they're telling something different inside the world of the MCU, and that's what I'm excited about inside of Phase 4. Phase 3, a little bit, I don't know if predictable is the right word, but you knew the types of stories they were telling. You knew where it was leading, and it was kind of the culmination of these characters we'd been with for a while. And with Phase 4, we're getting new characters, new time frames, cosmic weird, and the Eternals is one of the weirdest of the bunch. Number 7, Samaritan. This is an original superhero thriller starring Sylvester Stallone. When I did my most anticipated list last week, I left this one out because Stallone's been a little bit uneven with his films for the last decade. But the thing that I missed when I made that judgment was who's directing it. Julius Avery, who directed Overlord just a couple years back, which is just this awesome World War II Nazi zombies film that has me very curious as to what this film is going to be. Had I remembered who the director was of Samaritan, it would have factored into my 2 most anticipated videos from before. But when you have Stallone, superhero movie, director of Overlord, I'm sold. Then we have Untitled SpiderMan 3. Now, when I posted my most anticipated list last week, I had this at number 15, and a ton of people's minds were blown that it wasn't much higher. And even for some of you watching this video, you're probably wondering why Spider-Man 3 isn't in my top 3 for comic book movies. And the simple answer is, for me personally, I really wanted them to do something more traditional with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. They've sent him to space, they sent him to Europe, they sent him to Washington, D.C. They keep relying on all of these kind of gimmicks and other characters for his version of Spider-Man. I want him to get to stand alone as Spider-Man in the MCU, telling a more traditional Spider-Man story. I know a bunch of you're fine that they're going wacky, wild, and crazy. For me, I want at least one traditional story with him, not relying on other MCU characters. To be fair, though, as soon as Doc Ock shows up and Electro, and then of course Tobey Maguire, I'll start peeing my pants with excitement. Ooh, I love it. Just like all of you. But there is a frustration on my side as of right now, and it's just in the conceptual. And once again, they're going wild and crazy with it instead of just trusting Tom Holland to lead a normal Spider-Man story. In 5th place, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Now, I have such a mixed relationship with the original Venom because I don't think it's a particularly good film, but I think it's a lot of fun. Most of my issues with it stem from all the setup of the first 40 minutes of the film that's clunky, it's awkward, but as soon as you've got Eddie and Venom together, the movie becomes a lot of fun, and you figure out what they were going for and see the potential where it could have been, what it could have been, and that's what I see in this second movie. All the backstories out of the way so it can focus on what really works, and that's Eddie, Venom, and Carnage joining in the mix on this one. So While I have reasons to be concerned, I'm mostly interested and hopeful that this can be quite good. In fourth place, Black Widow, the film that was supposed to kick off Phase 4, but got delayed once again. And finally, Black Widow gets to star in her own story, and it looks to be a bit of a spy thriller. Put all those ingredients together, and I can't wait to check out this movie. It's a bit awkward that she didn't get her own movie before she died. Putting that aside, I like spy movies, I like this character, love the MCU, and I'm very curious where Phase 4 is going. All big wins for me. Real quick before I give you my top 3, be sure to join me down below in the comment section. Share your ranking of the upcoming superhero and comic book movies, and let me know if I missed anything. I tried to do a lot of research to find some of the smaller stuff, but a lot of movies come out every single year, and it's possible that I missed something. Let me know if I did. And if you enjoyed this video, I've done some other videos wrapping up 2020 and getting excited for 2021. You can check those out right up here once this video is over. In third place, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Now, to be honest, I know almost nothing about this character except he's in the Marvel Universe and a martial artist. The thing that has me so excited about this film is the director himself. A few years back, he directed a movie called The Glass Castle, and then just this last year, he directed Just Mercy, and this guy tells stories that are at the frequency of my heart. He knows how to resonate with me emotionally, and I love martial arts films. So you take the MCU that I obviously love, you take martial arts movies that I love, and then you combine a director that just knows how to speak to my heart, put it all together. I'm pumped to check this one out. And with all the delays that happened, they actually moved this one ahead of the Eternals. I don't know what that means, but it has me curious. Our runner-up, The Suicide Squad, a DCEU movie directed by James Gunn. Now, infamously, I am not a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
You have a problem with that?
But even with all of its issues, none of that ever dampened my excitement for future James Gunn projects. And The Suicide Squad feels like a perfect fit for him. He's great working with ensembles, with groups of weirdos, and he has a very dark sense of humor. The Suicide Squad, obviously an ensemble, and lends itself to James Gunn's darker side far more than him making a movie for Disney or 2 movies for Disney. And so put all those things together, naturally, this is one that I think is just a perfect fit between the director's skill sets and source material. Obviously, once again, I punched my mic. Obviously, once again, the original Suicide Squad, not the best DCEU movie, but that seems to be an issue of WB screwing up the production of that film. That didn't seem to have happened here. They've already greenlit a Peacemaker series as a spin-off of this movie. I can't wait. But coming in at number 1 is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I love it when things like this are allowed to exist. There's this insane backstory of everything that went wrong with the production of Justice League. The movie that they crapped out on us is this Frankenstein monster of executives making horrible decisions and hiring a replacement for Zack Snyder that's not remotely compatible with Zack Snyder, and we got this abomination monster because of it. And they decided to actually let Snyder finish the movie he intended to make. And they're giving him $70 million, and it's apparently going to be twice as long as the film that they put out before. And Snyder has said he will not use a single frame that Joss Whedon shot. In which case, this is easily at least 2 hours of new footage, maybe 3 hours of new footage. That is so fascinating to me. I love these types of projects. And because Justice League was a disappointment when I initially saw it, and it's kind of turned into this gross thing as we've learned more and more stories what went on behind the scenes. I love that what hopefully going to get a better film, and I think it's safe to say it'll be better just because it's an actual artistic vision, not this micromanaged things from 1,000 different voices. It's actual artistic vision. But as someone that loves Man of Steel and as a defender of Batman v Superman, I want to see the completion of Snyder's involvement in this universe the way he intended. So for me, for all those reasons and even more, it comes in at number 1. If you liked this video and want more content like it, you can see my 15 most anticipated movies in general for the year 2021. You can see my worst of 2020 picks right down there. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.